Well, good morning. How are you all today? And welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I want to talk about the fact that the United States is becoming a police state. Now, some of you will say, Steve, it's been a police state forever, for a long time. You haven't been paying attention. Yeah, I have been paying attention, and it's not a police state yet to the extent that it's going to be and can be, and that's what I want to talk about. If you think that the United States is a police state, you've never lived in a police state, but it's getting there, okay? That's important. By the way, yes, I know I need a haircut, don't I? We've seen the, especially since, 9/11. Can I still say that on here? We have seen our government do everything it can in the name of our safety to decrease our rights and increase our sheephood. And most people have gone along with it because most people would rather be safe than free. Now, if you're on this channel, chances are you feel either the opposite way or kind of a combination. Wherever you come down on the spectrum of that, you can be totally free, and that's fairly unsafe because you provide for all of your own safety and security, or you can be, pretty safe and not be free because your caretaker is taking care of you, and most people are on there somewhere. I just put up, now several years ago, I started occasionally putting things up about living under oppression. And I got a lot of people, the thumpers, the cold dead hand people that, never do anything except pound on a keyboard. And I know this is going to insult many preparistas out there. I don't care, because it's important that you deal with reality, not some fantasy. Okay, that's what this channel is about. Real stuff. Just a second, I got it. Hey, buddy. Okay, my oldest son came in, and for those of you who know me, you know that anytime one of my family comes home or leaves, I stop it and say hello, goodbye, find out how they're doing. So anyway, I started talking about living under oppression, and I got those people, I'm not going to live under oppression, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to fight and die, I'll be on my doorstep, they're not getting me, blah, blah, blah. Big talk, right? It's easy to talk big when the wolf ain't coming. Well, the reason that I was talking about that, and the reason that I talked about a couple of groups in particular, one being the Irish Republican situation in Ireland, obviously, where they were going to throw me. When I was over there in the north of Ireland, and what most people improperly refer to as Northern Ireland, I was in Belfast, and I was walking down to a bar with some very interesting people, and I just wanted to see. I have a tendency to kind of push boundaries sometimes. Took a picture of a PSNI car, Police Service of Northern Ireland. And boy, they saw me do it. They were going to throw me in jail for taking a picture of a police car. Now, that is not as bad as a police state can get, but it's a lot further along than we are right now. Does that give you an indication? So anyway, one of the examples that I used was the IRA and the Irish Republican movement. The Irish have been living under oppression, the oppressive boot heel of England, Great Britain, for 800 years. Okay, and if you don't know about that, it'd be good for you to study about it or listen to some of my videos that I've made about it. Not as bad as it used to be during the Troubles, but actually we're getting a little more action going on over there in Ireland in the last year or so. Side note, we'll come back to the main purpose here. The other group that I talk about is organized crime. And a matter of fact, I just put up two over on Patreon. This is a plug for Patreon, because if you're serious about preparedness, you need to be on the Patreon channel. I just put so much more over there. But I put two. I put one on the regular Patreon, the first level, about why you should use the mafia pattern in developing your groups. Many groups, mags, whatever, tribes, whatever, They don't work well because they're done wrong. Too many preppers do things wrong. I know. I just upset a lot of people. I don't care. I'd rather help you than stroke you, you know. Uh, but they do it wrong. And by using the so-called mafia method, you're going to do a lot better. Not just when everything falls apart, like in my books, but now. You're going to improve your life now. Okay, that's on the first level. Make develop your groups, grow your groups by the mafia method. And it's totally different than most people. I know right now the reason that I don't put mafia stuff on here or IRA stuff or gun stuff on the main channels is because most people know so little about it, yet they think they know so much about it. They see it in a movie or that, you know what. None of those things. I don't care. People have watched Goodfellas and Casino and all that. If you get your information from, I won't say you, if somebody gets their information from that, they know nothing. Okay, it's not at all the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is very illuminative. You could do well to understand it, and I help you understand it there. On the Stonemont level, I talk about something that even more people don't understand, and that is, what does mafia actually mean as a word or an organization? And does the mafia even exist? Or has it ever existed? And the answer is very different than you think you know. Right now, I'm going to get, I bet I get at least 5 comments. Well, the mafia is this and this and this and this and this. Let me throw in a word here. I worked with federal law enforcement, with a federal organized crime task force. They didn't know. And you know what? They didn't know they didn't know. I'll just leave that there. Okay? But anyway, so that's what I put over there. I use those 2 groups as an example of how to live successfully under oppression. Our country is becoming more oppressive. It's becoming much more of a police state. And when you factor in things like, you know, the central bank digital currencies, that's going to get us about as close, if it happens. And it's not assured that it's going to happen. I know there's a lot of channels out there telling us it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Well, it could happen. It could happen. But it's not, in my opinion, 100% certain that it's going to happen. Here comes somebody else. Yes, it is, Steve. Okay, whatever. Something hasn't happened until it's happening, but it's getting closer to it. Okay, as each step, we saw, like I said, since 9/11, how the secure state has developed, how our rights have gone away. So many of them. Okay, they're going to use this war. They're going to use the economy as a way to further strip us of our constitutional rights and gain even more control over us, our actions, our communications, our affiliations, our money, all of these things. They're going to do that. In order to be able, you have 2 choices. Go along with it. I mean, you know, the sheep are happy. You go out there, you know, they get sheared a couple times a year. I don't know how often a sheep gets sheared. I'm not a shepherd. But however, they just munch their grass as provided, and they smile at the shepherd, not realizing the shepherd is going to be in charge of bringing them there where they get slaughtered. And so, you know, sheep are there to be sheared and slaughtered. And sheep are happy. I mean, until the day comes where they're slaughtered, they're happy. And even the moment that they're slaughtered, they're probably just happy. You know, Soylent Green, anyone? So, yeah, that's one choice. The other choice is to try to develop a way to live, to continue your autonomy under oppression. And that's what I talked about in the ones on Patreon. You have to decide. You have to decide. And if you are going to, I'll tell you just a little bit about what I talked about on the Patreon, and that is you have to expand your affiliations, you have to expand your groups, you have to expand your influence, and you have to increase your ability to live separate from the system. Simple as that. Now, I just said a couple of other things that so many people, since this is on YouTube, now if it was on the Patreon channel, I wouldn't get any flack about it. That's why I keep stuff over there. On here, I know I'm going to get some, I don't like people. You can't trust people. Yeah, if you don't know anybody you can trust, if you think that all people are horrible, take a look at what the common denominator is, because some people can be trusted, and there are many, many nice people around who will do a lot for you, with you, whatever. Okay? And there's no way you're going to be able to survive as a lone wolf. I know everybody likes to think about that. I'm going off into the wood with my single-shot rifle and a one-eyed dog. And Jeremiah Johnson it for the rest of your life. Maybe there's a few of you who you're suited for that, and maybe society would prefer you go out and do that. I don't know. But for the most part, people have families, they have children, they have grandchildren, they have spouses, they have brothers and sisters, they have friends and activities and jobs and things like that, that they're simply going to stay in the real world for. And that means that you have to develop your ability to live well within the real world while it becomes increasingly oppressive. You know what? That is one of the most important parts of preparedness. Too many people get this idea that preparedness is all about when the end comes. Heck, it's about now. It's about being able to live better now. It's about being able to continue living a quality life while oppression increases. There are ways to do that. It's up to you whether you are willing to develop the skills. And yes, there are skills that need to be developed, just like you need to develop the skill to, start a fire with your flint and steel. These are skills. These are social skills, which a lot of people don't want to develop, right? Because they just don't like people. But they have to be developed, and that does not mean, and here I'll get another person, I'm not going to sell out. It has nothing to do with selling out. Developing social skills, which is probably why I would say if the preparedness world as a whole had, I don't know, if I was going to list the things that hold people back in preparedness, this would be toward the top, and that is a refusal to develop more social skills and expand your social resources and influence. But that's required. That's what will be required as oppression increases. Just study any civilization in which oppression has increased, and the way that people, the oppressed people, were able to survive was through community, through people, through other people. But people will snitch you out. Yeah, some will. That's why you better pay attention. Develop social skills, develop discernment, develop your ability to tell good people from bad people. But good people can turn bad. Okay, I can't help you. For the rest of the people. Anything can happen. Yeah, but you have to develop the ability to continue to live well under greater oppression. Okay? Whining and complaining about it doesn't do anybody any good. You should fight against it. You should fight against it, not in a way that gets you pulled away from your family. You should fight against it, and there are ways to do that. I explain that, again, on the Patreon channel. I'm not going to do it here because, like I say, it's just, I get too much trash comments on it that are stupid. You know how I feel about that, right? If you want, I'm going to give a commercial here. If you want to know how to develop that, how to prepare so that you can live well through any crash, how to survive it, and how to come out better on the other end with building community by helping people, may I suggest the Stonemont series. The reversion, the revival, the renewal, and appeal to heaven, blessings of freedom, and hostages to fortune. How do I know those names so well? The new people ask, because I wrote them. Okay, I'll let somebody else tell you whether you would like these or not. I just got a message from one of our people on Patreon, and I saw the order come through. He says, I just bought the 9th and 10th complete sets of the Stonemont series. That's what it is. You know what he does? He buys whole sets and he sends them to friends. You want to have an impact on people? You want to have influence on people? That guy is having an impact and an influence over people. He is helping people get prepared. He is helping people think differently. He's helping people think in a larger way than they have before, because that's what this is. This is a positive. I think in the foreword of the first one, the guy who wrote the foreword for it said it's an amazingly positive message about an amazingly negative situation. That's exactly what it is. This is how to live well, how to live great, how to prepare for your family, how to help others, how to build community. You know, I hate the negative preparedness attitude that is so pervasive. It's one of the things that made me write my first book. I said, I've had it. People are just, I mean, my gosh, if things are that horrible, I don't understand why people are preparing at all. Why don't they just curl up and die if it's everything's going to be that horrible? It doesn't have to be horrible. Whether it's horrible is up to the individual person. But our country is declining. You know that. Our country is devolving into what will be either anarchy or a police state, or anarchy resulting in a police state, or a police state resulting in anarchy. Take your pick. It can go either way, and I don't know, and you don't know, and nobody knows. We'll just see what happens. But anyway, whatever, you need to develop your ability to deal with it. Because, you know, the people I've talked to who have lived in police states tell me it's no fun. But they also tell me that some people do a lot better than others, and it all depends on how they prepare. Okay? All right. You guys have a good day. I didn't tell you where to get the books. The links are down below. You can get them either through Amazon or you can get them directly from me at stonemont.us. That's my website. And if you do that, I get to sign them for you. And I love doing that because I love my relationship with my readers. And you can join us on the Patreon channel, and that link is also down below in the information section and a pinned comment. So think about that. We're on our way to a police state. How are you going to prepare for it? How do you want to live under oppression? Because it's coming. How do you prepare for it? How are you going to live? Totally up to you. We prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.